Hey guys, it's me, Carly, coming at you with another video. This is going to be another top 10 video, so it's probably going to be a lengthy video. And the next video will also be another top 10 video. And this top 10 video, I'm going to be discussing my top 10 worst female characters. And in the next video, I'm going to be talking about the top 10 worst male characters, so be on the lookout for that. So without further ado, here are my top 10 worst female characters ever. And just keep in mind, this is just my opinion. And feel free to put down your top 10 and feel free to say why you agree or disagree. And here we go. Number 10, Harper from Famous in Love. I've ranted about her before, but not to the extent I've ranted on some other characters on this list. But Harper is probably the worst character for me because she uses Rainer from Famous in Love, and she's a user. She's ableist as hell because she threw a party to honor Rainer, even though it was just for her to get more fame. It was like an event, and she had alcohol at this party, and she's an addict, and Rainer's an addict, so that wasn't helpful. And then she invites Rainer's mother, Nina and Jordan, to this party, and he's triggered by that because he finds out that his best friend his mom and his best friend are sleeping together. And she constantly is manipulating Rainer. She gaslights Rainer, and yeah. And I ranted about her on my worst couples list because I put Rainer and Harper as one of the worst couples ever because she just gaslights him, and it's just so ugly and not cool. So I don't really have too much to say about her, but yeah, she needs to go away. Well, she has gone away forever because the show got canceled, and I'm kind of pissed about that. And it got canceled way too soon. So Harper is number 10. Number 9, both the Gilmore Girls. Now, I've ranted about Rory because Rory, as I said, is the absolute epitome of white mediocrity and white privilege. She gets everything handed to her, even a lawyer, after she steals a yacht. And she steals this yacht all because she can't handle some criticism, like some negative feedback, because she's told she don't got it, and yet her solution is to go and steal a yacht. Yeah, that doesn't make much sense to me either, but she stinks as a character. So I'm not going to get too much into Rory Gilmore. And she's also kind of a homewrecker. No, she is a homewrecker, and she sucks. But Lorelai, which I haven't ranted about her too much, I find her a little more tolerable than Rory. But Lorelai is just as obnoxious. Can be just as obnoxious as Rory, if not more. Because Lorelai, to me, behaves like a child. She treats her own mom like crap. And I get that Emily and Lorelai have a rocky relationship. But Lorelai, anytime Emily wants to spend time with Lorelai, any quality time, Lorelai doesn't look at that as an opportunity to bond with her mom. She just is like, I'm gonna, I don't want to spend time with my own mother. She drives me nuts. Well, everyone's mom drives them nuts, but Emily's not a bad mom. Plus, why aren't you trying to reconnect with your mom and have a healthier relationship? Why is it this constant battle? And then you act incredibly entitled. You treat Logan like crap just because he comes from a background you don't like, even though it's a good background, and you've come from a similar background, and you treat him like you act like you're not privileged when the hell you're not. Are you kidding me? You're one of the most privileged characters I've ever seen in my life. And your daughter You have a last name that opens doors for you just because your last name is Gilmore. And I don't know, Lorelai really grates at me sometimes. And the way she fat shamed in the revival, just, no, not cool. Or the way she makes fun of babies is not funny anymore. And she kind of has this classist sense of entitlement, and she just looks down upon people for certain reasons. And then the funeral scene, which I thought was funny at first, but no, she totally just makes a complete ass of herself at her father's funeral by saying he left her in a steamer trunk or whatever, and Emily, oh my god, Emily read her to filth. It was the funniest thing ever. But Lorelai, and she looks down on Logan and Digger, even though I like Digger, because they're well off and rich. And she grew up with that lifestyle. And for some reason, Lorelai can't afford to fix her maggot-eaten porch. But she can afford to get takeout every single night. She can afford to go on her backpacking trip to Europe. But she can't afford to fix her porch. And she can't even open a bank account without her mother co-signing. And then she gets mad at Rory for asking Emily for help, which I thought was completely unnecessary. Like, I can do this on my own. I can do this on my own. But yet, Lorelai just, how can she afford to go to Europe and and eat out every night? And she does, and Magic of TV, Rory and Lorelai's jeans don't magically fit them without any complications. Because if I ate out every day, my pants would definitely be tighter, and they don't even work out. I don't know. And the only times I've ever seen Lorelai act like a real mom is when Rory, because Rory's a pretty well-behaved kid for the most part, is when she goes to Emily and Richard saying, please help me convince Rory go back to school. When she forces Rory to go to Chilton because Rory doesn't want to go because of Dean, and Rory says that's not the reason, but that's absolute bullshit. And then when she's lecturing Rory about cheating with Dean and having an affair, and Rory apparently doesn't learn her lesson about cheating at the age of 32, and Rory's like, Lorelai can be a bit much at times, but she's nowhere near as horrible as Rory. And Rory is just... Rory's a brat. I'm sorry, but she is an absolute brat. And I would kill... Like, for example, Lori Loughlin's daughter is kind of entitled because she doesn't even want to go to school, but Lori bribed her daughter into school, and now she's under investigation for that? I don't know. But I would kill... People would kill to have the opportunities Rory and Lorelai have. They get to have all the benefits of being poor. No, not poor. They get to be broke for only a few seconds, and they don't actually have to struggle for money because they can just run to Grandma and Grandpa / Mommy and Daddy. And it's just, oh God, she's just the worst. Sorry. But they are both incredibly entitled. And, by the way, the funeral scene, Lorelai could have just said, oh, one time I snuck out of the house when I was a grown woman because my mom was trying to set me up, and he totally covered for me. She could have just said that, but no. She just made a complete jackass of herself at Richard's wedding. Okay. Number 8 on this list is Ida Turner from Famous in Love. She's emotionally abusive to her daughter. She's kind of a stereotype of a character, actually, if I think about it. And she just doesn't do anything for her daughter except emotionally abuse her. And didn't want to get Lexi out of her contract because it was meaning she was making more money and cared more about fame than she did about other people's well-being. And Lexi even went so far as to check herself into a psych ward because she wanted out of her show that badly. Like, how bad do you have to be if you have one of your clients checking in, faking psycho, even though that's kind of ableist, but it was genius just because she wanted out of her show. How bad do you have to be to get one of your clients to drive one of your clients to do that because she hates her show that much that you won't even let her out of her contract? That's just awful. Like, you have to be a shitty person to drive someone to do that crazy of a thing. It's like, that's awful. Like, Ida is, I mean, she's a good, the actress who plays her is pretty, but just doing that, no. Oh, God, I'm sorry, but she just, no, not at all. Ida's horrible, and she's just crazy. But she's not the worst, but she's just absolutely horrible enough to be on this list. Number 7. Oh, boy. I'm gonna get so much hate for this. Michelle Jones. I know. From Spider-Man. First of all, I could also replace her with Zoe from Zapped, who's also played by Zendaya. But because Zoe from Zapped just is on my worst protagonist list because she acts like an entitled princess, wants to change her surroundings just because she doesn't like what the boy's habits are, her stepbrother's habits are. And just because her stepbrother makes weird food does not mean that she can be a bitch to him just because she doesn't like the way it smells or tastes. And just let the boys be themselves. And there's no actual growth with her character. As for Michelle Jones, who's actually on this list, her attitude is terrible to the boys. She's just rude for the sake of being rude, and there's like no reason behind it. There's like no depth to her being rude. It's just like, why are you two losers sitting here? She says this to Peter and Ned. And like, she says this, and well, why are you sitting here? Because I don't have any friends. Well, how are you going to make friends if you're going to call people losers for no reason? Like, you just randomly call them losers just because you can and because you're a rude bitch like that. I wish I would have added Hannah Baker on this list. And then she points out Peter's flaws in a meeting, like, oh, like you quit science club or whatever club it is he quit. Not stalking, just observant. It's like, what do you care that he quit? And why do you feel the need to point it out? She's just so rude for no reason. And then she asks Peter and Ned why they're at this lame party, despite her being there too, and her delivery is just kind of like, she's supposed to deliver it as a catty, rude person, but she delivers it like she's stoned. Zendaya does. And she's just like, oh, why are you at this party? Well, you're here too, as Ned and Peter point out. And she's like, am I? I'm just like, girl. And also, why does she look so unhygienic? Or maybe it's just, I mean, it's not because she isn't wearing makeup, but the way she has her hair in her face and it kind of looks greasy, even though she's part black and it shouldn't look greasy. It looks like she hasn't washed her hair in days. And I'm not just saying that to be rude. And she always looks like she's just a fucking douchebag. I'm sorry for swearing, but ugh. Number 6. Moving on to number 6. Sara Lance. I've ranted about this character enough. But oh my goodness, are her fans the most annoying? Her fan base is hella annoying. Like, people accuse Sara Lance haters that we don't like her. Ugh. I'm getting tongue-tied. People accuse Sara Lance haters of hating her because she's bisexual. No! That is not why we hate her. We hate her because she exists at the expense of 2 women of color. She has done nothing for Laurel. She has done absolutely nothing for... She's done nothing but cause Laurel heartache. And it's just awful. She's just awful to her. And Sarah's just an awful sister in general because I'm convinced she was made up to ruin Laurel's life. Because why would you sleep with your sister's boyfriend and then sneak off with him and then make your sister take care of your drunk dad and make your sister deal with all of these things with your parents that you don't have to deal with? You just get to come back and be welcomed with open arms, even though you left a really big mess for Laurel to clean up. Plus, you tortured people on a boat. And that's glossed over because you're white and because people feel sorry for your dumbass. I don't know why. Sorry, I don't mean to swear, but Sarah just as a character to me is just... She's the fucking worst. Like, and also... I'm gonna need y'all to stop calling her Black Canary and saying she's a better Black Canary just because of physicality reasons. No! Like, she does not embody warmth. She doesn't embody empathy, kindness. She doesn't have the maternal... She's not maternal like Black Canary is. She's just... All of those things have been stripped from what... All of those things are Laurel. Laurel's maternal. Laurel is kind, caring. Earth 1 Laurel was, at least. She wanted to save the world. And Sarah just became a vigilante because she slept her way there. Like, I don't know how else to put it. And I'm going to cringe while saying this word. But Sarah... Oliver's penis... Sorry, I don't like that word. But I'm an adult and I should be able to say the proper word. So, and my boyfriend's going to make fun of me if he watches this video. And for those of you who don't know, it's the Wicked Merman. Which, I put it on Tumblr. So yeah, the Wicked Merman here is now my boyfriend. But, thought I'd just make that brief announcement. And he's going to make fun of me for saying that word. And he's going to be proud of me for putting Michelle Jones on that list. Because he's the reason I hate her. But she gets to sleep with her sister's boyfriend, and then then Sarah fans blame Laurel for Oliver and Sarah's affair because Sarah liked him first, and Laurel was jealous and stole Oliver from Sarah, so that wouldn't have happened. So everything bad happening to Sarah was Laurel's fault because Laurel stole her boyfriend, even though Sarah made the choice to sleep with him, even though Laurel and Oliver were in love, and Oliver claims he's loved Laurel for half his life, even though this is after the dinner, this is during the hallway scene, where after Laurel reads everyone to filth, rightfully so, and Sarah should have just stayed dead or not exist, or been an Asian woman, so she doesn't have to exist at the expense of a woman of color, because she exists at the expense of 2 women of color. I feel like I'm talking really fast and just getting jumbled up because talking about Sara Lance, I just fucking hate that character so much. And she's literally the worst. And maybe I should have switched Felicity and Sara. And Sarah's the reason I won't watch Legends. I also won't watch it because they whitewashed Vixen by casting a biracial actress. Like, I'm sorry, Macy R. Sellers. You're a great actress. But the role for Vixen should have been a dark-skinned woman. I'm sorry. I just get really ramped up talking about Sara. And Sara's fans, like, coddle her. They don't call her out. Not all Sara fans. Some have acknowledged that she's not the Black Canary. And I'm sick of Sara Lance being called the original Black Canary. And I'm sick of Sara Lance fans calling Laurel a cheap knockoff, even though it's Sara who's the cheap knockoff. And Sara would not even exist without Laurel, whose full name is Dinah Laurel Lance. Okay? Okay. Because I'm sorry. Sara just needs to be... I wish when Laurel threw the glass at Sara that she would have just hit Sara with that glass, because Sara literally is the absolute worst character ever to be made up. She is the absolute worst sister, girlfriend ever. And no, seeing Ava and Sara, yes, it is WLW rep, but it doesn't do it for me to see two blonde girls kissing because you hype them up more than you hype up Grace, Choi, and Anissa, both beautiful brown women in a WLW relationship. But you don't hype those two up, but you hype up the two white girls, because everything is so much easier when you're white. I'm sorry, I'm yelling. Sorry, I get so mad thinking about how Sara just gets to not work for anything, because everything was basically handed to her. And if she hadn't got on that boat, she would not have tortured a boat full of people. She would not have met Nyssa, who she treats like shit anyway, because Nyssa's a goddess, and I love Nyssa, even though Nyssa has her own evilness and darkness in her, but I still love Nyssa. Laurel would not have been kidnapped by an assassin that poisoned her and nearly killed their mother. And all of these tragic events lead back to Sara being on Oliver's penis. And yeah, I just said the word twice, so sorry. It's a weird word for me. And I know it's the correct name, but Oliver's dick is the villain of this show. Is the ultimate big bad. Sorry for going on a long rant about Sara. I just can't stand her. Next character, I think we all know we can't stand, is Felicity Smoak. Okay, Felicity is tolerable at times. Like when Earth 2 Laurel / Black Siren opened up to her about her father dying. Sorry. But it wasn't... She was actually sympathetic and nice. But Felicity now? And now girl is pregnant? Oh, Emily Bet Rickards. I'm so sorry that these writers are doing this to your character. Like, once again, Oliver's penis ruins Felicity. Because, why? Why is she now attached to Oliver's dick? I mean... First off, Felicity's a horrible character because she's written as a misogynist, even though she's a female. She treats her own mother like shit, which I've done in my I've talked about this in my Felicity rant video, and apparently she's called her mom a hooker to her stepson, William, just because of the way Donna dresses. And like I said, Donna is not the most conventional mother. Just because Donna is an unconventional mom does not make her a terrible mother. It just, no. And then, girl, you showed up on The Flash with a side boob and a cutout dress, and we saw your side boob. So you're a hypocrite. You make ableist comments towards Oliver. And then you expect other people to take the blame for diabolical shit you do because you're just as guilty as committing atrocious crimes. And I'm sick of... and I know that Black Siren is not really an attorney, But is the bringing up being a fake attorney necessary? Because that's part of her character arc. And Felicity trying to shit on Black Siren's redemption is not okay. Because I just... And Felicity's become an absolute Mary Sue because she can do biotech, she can do hacking, she can hack her... What is she going to do? Hack her way through a pacemaker? And now that Felicity has a future daughter who they named Mia... Is Mia, who's Felicity and Oliver's daughter now, apparently, is she supposed to be a knockoff of Olivia and Mia Dearden and Olivia Queen? Because that's how she comes across, and I don't know why they feel the need to steal Black Canary and Green Arrow storylines and put it on Felicity, and they think that's good writing? No! Felicity is a Mary Sue. She sucks as a character. I wish that they would go back and actually develop her. And and one of the worst things they did with Felicity was give her a paralysis arc. Like, that is like I was rewatching that scene where she gets up, breaks up with Oliver, and she literally gets up out of the wheelchair and walks away. As a metaphor and a literal metaphor for which literal metaphor is kind of an oxymoron, but I hope you get what I mean. She just walks away from Oliver, literally, to the door, and she gets up out of her wheelchair, and no one even says anything. In the next episode, no one even says anything like, "Oh, Felicity, you're walking again." And they did an absolute disservice to the paralysis community, in my opinion. And walking like that does not work that way. She would not be able to walk perfectly. She would have to go to physical therapy to relearn to walk, and not just because of some chip Curtis made. With Khalil's paralysis arc, even though it's kind of sad to see him go, even though I don't really care for Khalil on Black Lightning, and I did think he needed to face ramifications for everything he's done. But my God, he didn't deserve to have Tobias Whale literally rip his spine out with his bare hand. Like, Khalil did not deserve that at all. That shit was unnecessary. And the other thing is that, how can Felicity fucking walk with a chip in her back, and then no one says anything about her walking again? The next episode. The episode after she's walking. She is walking again. Laurel, Felicity, Laurel, Thea, Oliver, and everyone else, and Diggle, did not say anything about her walking again. It's the whole... Oh, and then in this line, Oliver's like, "Oh yeah, we were gonna go with Oracle, but it's already taken." It's like... Don't you be disrespecting Barbara Gordon like that. Like, y'all owe Barbara Gordon an apology because Felicity is an ableist version of is an ableist discount version of Oracle / Barbara Gordon. And Felicity is a misogynist. She treats her own stepson like shit. And watching Oliver and Felicity trying to parent William is just, it's so cringy. And it's like, you're not his mom. He's not just gonna warm to you right away, because, I mean, I have a stepmom, and I don't dislike her or anything, but I don't feel, and because of where she lives, and because of the time she married my dad, I just don't feel like she's a stepmom. Like, I don't look at her as a stepmom, I just look at her as my dad's wife. Even though by legal terms she is my stepmom. But it's just like, I would not warm to you right away. As, like, a teenage boy is not going to warm to some woman marrying his dad right away. It takes time for that to happen. Like, and he doesn't even get to grieve his own mother. And then you send William away to boarding school. And this rant is becoming super long on Felicity. I apologize, but oh god, she's literally one of the worst characters. And I don't understand is that she sends William away to boarding school. He has no one to spend Christmas with. He has no one to spend the holidays with. He just has to spend it by himself. The kid probably has... I bet the kid has PTSD after being kidnapped twice. The second time he was in witness protection program, and he has a gun to his head, and he sees a man kill himself. His mom is dead, was literally blown up on an island, and he was kidnapped and separated from his mom. He's sent away to boarding school. I bet he's seen his dad kill people, and the line of work his dad is in is not children friendly, and he should have just gone to go live with an aunt, his grandparents, just anyone else, but Sam dying so that Felicity could play house with William is so gross, and Felicity being parents is not believable. It's cringy. It's ugly. I hate it. And I don't really care for William, even though it's not his fault. And it's partly because he's a whitewashed character. But I don't care for him just because of the way they handled the storyline. And future William, no. Just, gross. Well, not gross, just... I know he's a version of Connor. He's supposed to be a step-in for Connor Hawke, just like John Diggle Jr. is supposed to be a step-in for another Connor Hawke. Yes, there's two Connor Hawks, a white Connor Hawke and then a Blasian Connor Hawke. I know, very confusing. And I don't know why there's two Connor Hawks, and you could just pick different names. I don't know. And then Mia is just bleh. Not bleh, but she's Felicity's daughter, and the thought of them reproducing just bleh, gross. Sorry to be so harsh. I didn't mean to. It's just, ugh. Sorry, I didn't mean to go on a big long rant about Felicity. Number 4 on this list is Myrtle Edmonds from Lilo and Stitch. Myrtle literally bullies Lilo right in front of the teacher. And the teacher doesn't do anything about it, and it's always Lilo's fault. Like, Myrtle can gaslight Lilo. She can say mean things about Lilo's mother. She can be rude as she possibly can, and she never gets punished for it. Literally, she never ever gets any form of punishment. And the one time Myrtle does get punished is when Lilo sets up a prank on the new teacher in the series. I forget the teacher's name, but it wasn't her original teacher. It was like a substitute teacher. Myrtle doesn't even do it, but I didn't feel bad that Myrtle got punished because it makes up for all the other times that Lilo has gotten punished when she didn't deserve it. And watching Myrtle get her comeuppance was so funny to me, and I love it. So watching Myrtle get punished for something she didn't do, even though she didn't get punished all the other times, was just awesome. And normally I don't really like characters getting punished for something they didn't do, but Myrtle deserved it because all the other times, and she was getting punished for everything else she did do, but she's getting punished for something Lilo did, and punished for all her other misbehaviors. It was fantastic. It was awesome. And even as an adult, she doesn't learn to be nicer. And we never really know why Myrtle's a bitch in the first place. So it just kind of makes her a mean-spirited bully and a less developed version of Helga, in my opinion. Helga Pataki. Number 3 on this list is Merida from Brave. Okay, first off, Merida is cute in Brave. But her animation in Wreck-It Ralph was just... ugh. Oh, no. I'm sorry. She was not cute in Wreck-It Ralph to me. She was kind of ugly. She looks better in Brave. But anyway. She's selfish. She's spoiled. And she sought out a witch. And intended to... She poisoned her own mother. And turned her mom into a bear. All because she didn't want to get married. Look, I know you have issues with Eleanor, Merida, her mom. Yes, I believe Eleanor is Merida's mom's name. But she's just awful. And I know that, Merida and her mom butt heads. But to go out and get a potion to make your mom change her ways instead of having a rational conversation or, like, running away like a normal teenager would. Or, like, not talking to your mom for days. Doing something a normal teenager would do. I could have gotten that and I could have empathized with her more. But how am I supposed to sympathize/empathize with Myrtle when she goes out of her way to not necessarily poison, but she does end up... She poisons her own mother to try and get her to change her mind. And, like, how? Are you supposed to empathize with the character like that? Like, I want to like Merida. And Brave had some good... Brave had a thing going for it, like feminism and whatnot. Brave is an okay movie, but I don't understand why a girl suddenly shooting arrows and not wanting to marry a guy is feminism, but doing girly things is anti-feminist. Why? Like, why can't she be into girly things and why can't she be into boyish things, if you will? Like, why can't she still be a feminist that way? Like, poisoning your own mother? Girl, that's a huge no-no, and it's disrespectful, and it's rude, and it's just... I mean, she does grow and learn and does apologize and whatnot and still thinks nothing's her fault, but I don't know. Ugh. That's just gross. Anyways. Number 2. Amunet Black from The Flash. They tried to make her appealing and she's a human trafficker. She's a literal human trafficker. Sorry. And she ripped off Caitlin. And Caitlin still wants to work with her, which Caitlin, by the way, spoiler alert, is number 1 on this list. But Amunet gets to be the face of feminism. Despite selling people. And then they bring her back on one Flash episode because they need her help. But of course, the Team Flash, the idiots they are surprised that Amunet betrays them. Are you kidding me? She has a reputation for trafficking people and working the system to her benefit, and she... What, you didn't think she was gonna fuck you over? Yeah, she's going to fuck you over. And I just... No! I don't understand. She's not... She's just a horrible character. And I really don't like Amunet because... And it's mainly because she's a human trafficker. And they tried to make her charming, but... She's not charming. There's nothing charming about a human trafficker. And I just... Ugh. God, she's the worst. Now number 1, as I just said earlier. Oh, and human traffickers don't deserve to be the face of any feminist movement. Or any white feminist movement. Number 1, Caitlin Snow. I've ranted about her enough, so I'll try to make this short. But yeah, she's a human trafficker too. She has no consequences for her actions. And she's exempt from any consequences because she's been retconned a bunch of times. And if the rumors are true, I really hope Danielle is leaving, because Caitlin is the most useless character, and I'm supposed to believe she's the key to defeating Cicada. When she gets knocked out half the time, and people accuse Iris of being a damsel in distress, yet Iris is the one who's kidnapped the least. She holds her own in a fight, and Caitlin and Iris gets accused of sitting behind a desk, of playing it safe and sitting behind the desk, even though Iris has gone out into the field more than Caitlin has. And Caitlin is the one with powers. Caitlin almost let Iris disintegrate into a pile of sand just because she was too scared to use her powers, but doesn't have a problem making it snow or using her powers as muscle for a human trafficker. So she's literally aided and abetted a human trafficker. She's never had to apologize to any of the females on the team, especially Iris or Cecile or any women of color that she fucked over. She almost got Cynthia killed just because of how incompetent she is. And just, she is a badly written character. And people say that we don't like her because she's misogynistic. No, not misogynistic, because we're misogynists. And we happen not to like a character. Just because... No! People accuse us of not liking her because we can't handle Barry being friends with another woman. Okay, so Kara doesn't exist because I adore Super Flash friendship, and I totally adore Barry's friendship with Kara, but no! We can't handle Barry being friends with another woman, right? Never mind the fact that Caitlin literally worked with someone who made a deal with someone after knowing the fact that Barry was almost sold into human trafficking. She made a deal. She worked with someone who tried to kill Iris, and Barry still, which is completely out of character for Barry, to call her a good person. Barry flips out at the mere thought of anyone harming Iris. Or even, like, when he said to Ragdoll? Yeah, I think it's Ragdoll. When she said to Ragdoll that if you touch Iris, like, he said it like, if you touch her, I'll kill you. And then he did not care that Oliver and him switched lives. And the minute he does care is when Oliver says, when I wake up in my own bed, and Barry's like, you woke up in bed with Iris? And Oliver nods, and Barry's like, we have to fix this right now. So in what world does it make sense for Barry to like Caitlin as a person after the horrendous shit that Caitlin helped put Iris through? Because realistically, Barry would cut ties with Caitlin. And he pays her checks, so adios, you're fired. Go find a new job. Because Caitlin needs to be blacklisted because she has not been punished at all for her crimes. She has not faced any she has not had to atone for her crimes. And she just keeps getting retconned and has like 5 different backstories that don't make sense. And it just, I don't know why Barry would want to help Caitlin or do anything for Caitlin and not sever ties with her, because she's helped try to have Iris killed. And we all know that Iris is Barry's whole world. And it means absolutely everything to him. So him being friends with Caitlin and calling Caitlin a good person after all the horrendous shit she's done is not realistic. But anyways, this is my top 10 list. If you like this list, leave a comment down below, like, share. And if you like this video in general and want to see more Carly craziness content, like, share, and subscribe. And as I said, leave suggestions, leave a comment down below, and have a good one.